Welcome to the brand spanking new PIPCAST 3000, a bog standard podcast where we discuss things, particularly Fallout related topics, current trends, and even extending out to other mediums such as movies, books, or other things if the mood strikes. I'm Caedo Genesis, as you probably know by now, and this is my co-host, BADCompanySarge.
Hi, I'm Sarge. I make Bethesda-based content, I guess. I'm mostly known for character builds more than anything else.
Yeah, and your character builds have become what would you call them? Your niche?
Sort of. I mean, Fallout 76 character builds, I feel, are gonna become like a proper niche. At the moment, my niche is just kind of like, oh yeah, that's that guy who does that stuff. Which is, yeah, great.
Cool. Well, as long I talked about this. Wow, I'm already jumping off topic. I talked about this on when I was going through the YouTuber like subreddits and stuff like that, and I made sure that people were thinking about what kind of thing they were producing and whether or not they want to be known for it.
Yeah,
and that's important to know when you're becoming a content creator, creator of sorts. If you're making the thing that you want to be known for, or if you're just making something, nonsensical.
I'd say on that note, what I want to be known for is storytelling.
Oh, that's a good one. That's good. It's a good goal.
Yeah. It sounds much better than I make builds as well.
I kind of stuck to, I make guides and junk. So the and junk can contain, like, that's why I say it, because it can contain just about everything, including podcasts. So how about that?
I kept my original tagline really open. It was gaming and insanity.
Oh, that's a good answer. That's a good one as well.
Yep.
I like that. Okay, well, welcome everybody. This is the reboot of the PIPCAST. Some of you may remember back around when Fallout 4 became a thing, a wonderful YouTuber by the name of Tony Mo and myself made the PIPCAST together. And it was published on his channel, and I was doing teasers on mine. But I talked to him a little bit, and I was like, hey, this was a split-second decision. I want to make a podcast. Are you okay with me using the PIPCAST name? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, if you at some point want to be a guest on there, or if you even want to join, like, you just say the word, man. And he's like, yeah, let's do something like that later. So, thank you, Tony. Tony Mo, everybody.
Woo!
He's currently... he does a lot more with a sci-fi shootery type
he's
content.
Currently based around Anthem more than anything. He's done tons and tons of stuff about that so far. He's only played the game like twice now, I think, and he's got a ludicrous amount of content on it.
Yeah, and I think our mutual knowing of Tony Mo is how we got in touch to begin with, I believe.
I think you found me and you mentioned Tony Mo. I, at the time, had no idea you and Tony knew each other. I managed to miss out on the PIPCAST until not that long ago, and I found you through the Fallout stuff. I found Tony Mo through Titanfall 2, which is a game I really love, and I was just like, wow, both of these creators are really, really cool. Then at some point it was just like, oh, Caedo and Tony are in a video together. When did that happen?
Yeah, it happened a couple times. But yeah, I just thought that was a cool, like, full circle kind of situation, and if he shows up, be like almost like a reunion type thing. Almost,
it'll be weird.
So
I'll try not to fanboy too much.
It'll be. It might be a little bit weird. Okay, so this is gonna be like a Fallout newsy thing, like we said. So what we like to start. We want to start with like a tip of the day type of thing related to the games we play and stuff. What do you got? What do you got, buddy?
My first tip of the day will be to increase your field of view, because it helps you spot enemies that are attacking you on the flank. Instead of having tunnel vision, look at what's around you.
Mm-hmm. And I've only done that on a game that's not Fallout.
You've got to do it on 76.
Unless it's for recording purposes on like Fallout 4 and anything prior, because I wanted to have wide angle. But and if you're curious on how to do that with a game that doesn't have a FOV slider, it's just hit the console button, which is the tilde key, and then type FOV and then 90 for wide. I think 75, 80 is normal, and then 60 is unbelievably close, why would you want to do that?
I think I tend to play on 100 field of view, which is
wow.
Yeah, kind of wide, but it's what I'm used to now, and it feels more natural. I don't know what I need to work out what like IRL field of view is, because it's a lot higher than you get in video games. Mm-hmm. But if you go to IRL field of view, it looks really weird in a video game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good tip. Yeah, the field of view I changed on Deep Rock Galactic, because you need to have your head on a swivel all the time in that game because bugs come from everywhere. I'll talk about it later. All right, let's get into news stuff. Whoa, news!
Yay!
Lots of stuff has happened. That was probably part of my inspiration to start this thing in the first place.
There has been so much news, and it seems to be updating multiple times a day almost. It's crazy how fast it's coming. Like, by the time this is out, there'll be so much more news that we just won't have been able to cover.
Yeah, one of which I angry tweeted about. I've never angry tweeted, and I actually did that this week. Nice. Yeah.
You know stuff is bad when Caedo shows, like, anger.
Because I don't usually get mad. I'm not usually one for... And also just, like, publishing that. I don't like publishing my anger. That's a bad habit to get into.
Yeah, keep it bottled up inside like the good people.
Or just have a healthy outlet, like not social media. Do something creative. How about that? Do some laundry. I don't know. So first and foremost, Fallout 76 had a big new update. I think it was like last week or this week?
No, it was this week. It was I want to say Tuesday? Maybe Tuesday this week. It was at the start of this week, patch 5.
Yeah. I only highlighted a couple of things that were like the main. I wish they did that, because some patch notes actually have highlights of the big changes they made, but they just info dump.
Okay, it was the 29th we got the patch notes, so on Wednesday the patch dropped.
Okay, yeah. So midweek badness in Bethesda style. I don't know, what do you want to go over first?
Oh, there's so much. Like, I made a very, very quick video going over some of the things, and as I recorded the video, I noticed I had more stuff that I'd recorded just in the couple of hours I'd spent in the patch. There was so much that changed, and most of it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, and I didn't fully, like, note down all the changes, because I was already kind of, like, drifting away, like, from casually playing 76.
Yeah.
On the content side, I'm still gonna make content on it, unless a certain thing happens. But
yes.
Generally, I planned on still focusing on it for content's sake. But I saw the explosive and two-shot thing that a lot of people are upset about.
Yeah, that seems to be the biggest thing that's come out of this, because it seems to be two sides of the fence, where people either had a whole bunch of two-shot explosive legendaries and now hate everything because they can't one-shot every enemy they come across and, like, just kill Scorch Beasts in less than a minute. And there's people on the other side who didn't have those guns who are like, hey, balance, I'm not going to get one-shot if I go into PvP anymore.
Yeah.
So
or like, I'm going to get a shot in on the Queen before it dies.
Yeah, well, I've run up to the Queen before and been like, sweet, she's still alive, and then she just dies instantly because, like, 3 people unload with automatic two-shot explosives. And it's kind of like, that doesn't feel right. But striking the actual balance, where two-shot explosive isn't the only thing to go for, but it's still an effective weapon that's desirable, doesn't seem to be something that Bethesda's done. It's more they've just gone, this is really good, nerf, and made it kind of suck.
It was not a concrete number. It was actually affected by the weapon's damage instead of just being a static, 15 area of effect damage, right? Because in Fallout 4 it was 15 damage, I think 15-ish damage, in an explosive area of effect, which could be modified by, explosive perks and buffs. Yeah. But that's all you got.
And that's the other thing as well. Demolition Expert got nerfed. Where it used to be rank 5 was like 100%. I think its rank 5 is now 60% or something like that. So that, stacked on top of the explosive weapon nerf, made explosive weapons considerably worse because it was a double nerf.
Yeah. I think that something that wasn't considered like at launch and likely after so much time was the weapon levels and scaling for how much damage output they would actually have by endgame.
Yeah.
If people were, taking full advantage of all the things they could to increase their damage output, which people were doing so, and then some with exploits. So.
Oh yeah, the exploits as well really don't help with working out what the balance of the game is actually like. For quite a while, I've been wanting to make a video talking about, is Fallout 76 too easy or too hard or just right? But it's impossible to work out, because I constantly have people commenting who are either saying, wow, your build's so bad, why aren't you one-shotting everything you come across? Because they've got to the god tier of the perfect weapons and the perfect loadout and might be using exploits. And then there's other people who are like, every enemy's so difficult, they chase me down and kill me and there's nothing I can do. And I have no idea why the range is quite so far apart.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe, I think it could have to do with a more wide audience too, because a lot of online players became interested in Fallout 76 when they may not have been interested in the Fallout franchise in general. Just having another, multiplayer experience they can have with friends. So you're getting a massive influx of, people who have never been exposed to the Fallout universe, coming in and not knowing all the nuances from, Fallout 4 and even before that. With dealing with certain enemies and stuff like that. One thing I missed though, and I know why they removed it, was the corner peeking. I missed that.
Oh god, I missed that so much.
And you can't do that in 76.
I was so disappointed by that. I've not spoken about it, but it's so infuriating, because I loved that in Fallout 4. I played tactically in that game, and it was awesome, because I could peek around a corner, silenced combat rifle, pew pew, couple of shots in someone's head, they're dead, no one knows where I am, wait for them to sneak by, sneak attack again. Oh, it was beautiful. Don't get to do that anymore.
Yeah, I'll say from experience too, in Fallout 4 VR, that is even more fun.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. The known plans thing?
Yes, that is something that should have been in at the start of the game, but it's so good that it's here now.
Yeah, and the generous addition of many plans to each vendor in the world as well.
Yes, however, that comes with the bad point of all of those plans are a lot more expensive now.
Yeah.
Like, ridiculously so.
And yeah, because I think you mentioned in your video the prices of the serums. I didn't even think they were going to sell those, because those were queen drops.
Oh, they sell all of them. Literally all of them are in the Modus terminal now.
Yeah, so instead of getting serum plans or trying to farm the queen to get serum plans, now you can just go and buy them if you have enough caps. Yeah. But of course the cap of caps is 25,000, and they cost what, 23,000?
At 4 charisma with no perks and nothing to boost charisma in any way, it's 23,000 caps. I think when I just put on rank 3 of hard bargain, it went down to 19,300, which was considerably lower. So you could get great mentats, sweet roll as well. That'd give you 8 extra charisma plus 10% better barter rates. And obviously, if you had higher charisma with either charisma boosting gear or base stat, you could get it down a fair bit, but I'd say you're probably looking at least 10,000 minimum. That's a lot. It's a lot of caps. But it also brings the point of that really encourages players to exploit a way to get more caps.
Yeah.
Because you can't buy multiple recipes. Even if you're really good at just making caps on your own, I'm quite good at making caps just because I search stuff and constantly find caps. But I can only buy one mutation recipe, then have to go out adventuring, eventually come back and do that, where I'd like to be able to store up caps and then do a big bartering session, which isn't possible because there's a caps limit, which is now feels quite low. Before this patch came about, I was like, oh yeah, 25,000 caps, that's fine, I just need to be a bit more frugal, spend them a little bit more, that's all good. Now that there's stuff that costs almost 25,000 caps, I want to save them up.
I guess I didn't want to make this a complainy type.
It's Fallout 76. There's always going to be complaints.
But the topics are inviting it, and that's I will take partial blame. But I don't like the idea of taking an endgame drop and making it available as a sold item.
Yeah.
Because that puts less incentive on like actually playing, you know, the endgame content. And obviously, like you said, the incentive to also possibly exploit to get caps quickly. That's there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's almost become the end game now is just farming for legendaries more than anything else, which I have my own problems on. I worked it out. I did stupid amounts of maths. I think I sent to you that it's 346,410 different drops that you could get from a 3-star legendary due to the variations of how many different items can have legendary effects, what legendary effects can go on which items, and the fact that a 3-star legendary can drop a 1-star, 2-star, or 3-star, which means you're just infinitely farming for the right legendaries you want as the endgame content. And it feels like there's a better way to do this.
Feels like it.
Yeah. As we are complaining a bit, I feel like I should point out both of us enjoy the game. We've had fun in it, definitely. And
important to drive home is I have immensely enjoyed the game, even, you know, playing alongside BADCompanySarge and several people in my community even. It's been a blast, and also like helped me reconnect with a friend that I hadn't talked to in ages, and he just said, "Hey, you playing Fallout 76?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You wanna play?" I'm like, "Yeah." Let's play. And I haven't talked to this guy in like it to this length in like a decade. So
yeah, it's good. I mean, first time I think I spoke to you was in 76 as well, because we'd like typed at each other. But first actual talking conversation came about because, hey, this is a multiplayer game. We should play the game together.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because, I mean, other than this podcast, it's not like we just randomly jump into voice chat all that often. We normally type.
Fallout 76, bringing people together since 2018.
I even enjoy the single-player experience as well, because most of my time has been single-player, and it's enjoyable. It's not the greatest single-player Fallout game out there for certain, but that doesn't mean it's terrible. Yeah. Many a true nerd put a nice little tweet out, I think about a month or so after the game had come out, where he said something about the game not being like the best, but it's the kind of thing he'd love to jump on for just like an hour or so in the evening, just have a nice relaxing time in, having a Fallout experience that you don't need to invest so much into. That's
a good way to look at it, definitely. I think, Up Is Not Jump likes getting lost. That's what he said, and I think his review is that he likes how it looks, and he likes just losing himself in the world for a little bit when he feels like having a break. And I'm not sure if that's still true, or if he's losing his mind playing some VR games, but you know.
He actually tweeted out recently, because I just stalk everyone on Twitter, it's what I do in my free time. He tweeted out recently when someone was asking about his Red Dead Redemption is a nightmare video he's going to be making. They asked him about Fallout 76, and he said that his feelings for that game were very mixed. So he's clearly not in love with it, but also doesn't hate it. He's somewhere in the middle with parts that he really likes and parts that he doesn't so much, which feels like a good balanced way, which I'd love to see more of on the internet.
I'm kind of showing up in that level as well myself. It took me a while because there was the hype and the interest and the knowing I'm going to make content on it and stuff like that. So the anticipation was already there, and you know there was enough and still is enough there to cover. But you know, I don't have the same spark as I did initially because things got messed up a lot.
It's.
We don't have to go over the list.
No, it does make it harder to enjoy the game as well when there's a lot of negative coverage about it. If you're constantly hearing, Fallout 76, grumble, 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 then when you jump into the game, you're gonna think about that stuff. It's unavoidable.
Yep. Oh yeah, and that's the weird thing too, is this is the first time I've gotten consistent comments about why are you covering this game anymore?
Oh yes, I'm semi-regularly getting dislike bombed.
I don't think it's hit that level for me just yet because they know I kind of I do guides. It doesn't matter which audience it's for, even the ones that are playing the less liked game, like I still want to do what I can for those people as well, if they have an interest in it, because I know there is.
Oh yeah, there's definitely an interest.
just the vocal minority are like, why?
Yeah, it was even before the game as well. There was a crowd that hated the game before it was out, and when the game
concept,
launched, when the game launched with a fair few problems and still has problems to this date, that just kind of gave them more fuel to keep on going, instead of it just being outrage before it comes out, then people being like, it's okay. It was, let's keep the hate. I had someone in my comments say they're just keeping the hate train going, or keeping the hate wagon going, or whatever it was. And that has kind of occurred, which is a shame to see, because it's a video game. Just play it if you enjoy it, don't play it if you don't. Ta-da! Simple!
It's supposed to be simple, but I will never understand the joy that people... I mean, I hope they get joy out of it. You gotta get something out of it when you're...
Oh, yeah.
Disliking something so hard.
Yeah.
I hope they enjoy their lives, is what I'm saying.
That's much more tactful than anything I'd say.
Okay, so on top of the discussion we just had about how much Fallout 76 sucks, and how much we still appreciate it for what it is, I'm going to try to keep a balance here. There was a massive screw-up in the Atom Shop right after the most recent update. And since then, I think the signage has changed. I haven't looked at the game again after the maintenance to see if that popped back up again. But let me bring the images up really quick, because I am prepared.
Yep, I made a recording of it as well. I was...
Okay, yeah.
We're both on the same kind of wavelength on that.
There's a screw-up this large. Okay, so you know that when Fallout 76 was promoted and shown to us in E3, they were like, this is the Atom Shop, this is going to be, cosmetic items only, and you can acquire the currency, atoms, in game through doing challenges and stuff like that. Yeah. That part's fine. That part's okay. It's still like leaning a little too hard into the free-to-play realm when it's a full-price game, but whatever. Yeah. But the Unstoppables set came out with the most recent patch, and it says, become unstoppable through February 4th, gain plus 15 maximum health for each member on your team wearing a unique Unstoppables outfit. And I think there's four separate outfits. I think it shows them there too. The Grognak one, the Silver Shroud one, the whatever top hat dude.
The Inspector and
Man-to-Man.
Man-to-Man.
And and it shows a Mistress of Mystery there too, but I don't know if that one actually counts towards it.
It should do, I feel. There is a Mistress of Mysteries outfit in-game, but even if you were to wear that, it kind of sucks, and it's a stealth-based outfit as well, which means you're likely not going to be playing in a team.
Or you're not going to be worried about HP.
Yeah. It's like, I literally just had a Mistress of Mysteries build publish, and I spoke like, okay, this is pure sneak, the weapons kind of suck, it isn't great or anything, it's just for role-playing purposes. Just don't get beat up and you'll be fine.
So at a maximum, you would be able to get, I think it's like 60 health if your full team is wearing, one of the Unstoppables outfits. And these are cosmetic. These go over the top of whatever armor you're wearing, right?
Oh, that's the other thing as well. The Mistress of Mysteries one isn't cosmetic. So
but that one is not. It.
So arguably, the ones you'd pay with for atom points are superior.
Yes. That's... Ooh, I hate hearing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the problem here is not the amount of HP that people are getting, but the fact that it is a stat boost and is opening the door for pay to win. And even ignoring the PvP aspect of things, I am never okay with giving people a way to spend money to boost any derived stat.
Yeah, it's
whatsoever.
not nice. To play devil's advocate a little bit, I will say first off, you can of course earn the atom points in game, as we've mentioned.
Correct.
Although I think I've made maybe 7,500 atom points in almost 500 hours playing, so you don't make tons of atom points.
Right.
And the bonus, as you said, is kind of small health boost, and it is available for only one day. Mm-hmm. Which is probably the best part about it, where it's not like a permanent buff or anything like that. It is a one-day boost, which isn't the end of the world, but it's a bad precedent they're setting.
Yes. I have a feeling it's a test of some sort to see like what the reception is and what basically if it helps selling or, getting rid of these things through the Atom Shop. It all feels scummy to me, to be honest.
It does leave a bit of a bad taste in your mouth. Like, I'd already been paying attention to the stuff in the top right, because first off it was carry toys in your inventory, gain bonus damage resistance. Yeah. Then it was gain a health regen buff on, I think, the 28th during night time, and now we've got this thing. And I was originally annoyed and recording all of them, because I was thinking, why are they doing this? These are one-day buffs that in no way actually change the game. Why are they devoting time and effort to this when they could be working on the game itself? It felt a bit weird from the start, and now they've done something actually bad with it instead of just mildly confusing.
And I liked the I like in-game events much better than this, whatever this is. It's just you're meeting a condition and you're getting a buff. Like it requires no work whatsoever on the developer side besides having those assets for the outfits, and that's it. And as far as I know, those assets, pretty much all of them, already existed via Fallout 4.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Silver Shroud and Grognak definitely did.
Yeah, and there was a dirty version of the Top Hat one in Nuka World.
Oh, okay.
Manta Man, I'm not entirely sure, but it was, shown in the comic books type thing. So Manta Man and Mistress of Mystery are probably the two new ones. Yeah. So what they made two outfits, two, maybe three, in order to I guess justify a stat boost. I don't know. I guess it's a good jumping off point to ask what the listeners think about it. I think it's a scummy door opening to a really bad pay-to-win system, and I am not going to be swayed on that. That's like the worst direction to go if Bethesda's been screwing up as much as they have already with the bags, the leaked information on players, like it doesn't need to stack any further. Throughout
all of that, I was willing to defend the game because that stuff was outside of the game that those problems were going on. But now that there's a problem inside of the game, I'm like, oh, come on, do not do this. If this is the only thing that happens, they don't do it again, and nothing worse happens, that's fine. I'm more than happy to be like, okay, at one point there was a small buff for one day through buying a paid cosmetic. Not gonna go crazy about it. If it gets worse or carries on though, then it's not gonna be easy to defend the game.
So context, this is what I was angry tweeting about, if you can tell. And I simply said do not sell power, and I tweeted it to Bethesda, to at Fallout, to I think Bethesda support also.
Yeah, you tweeted it a few times. All in caps.
Do not sell power. That rings true. I think I heard that first from Digital Extremes, the developers of a free-to-play game. Warframe, by the way, they don't sell power.
Warframe has some paid stuff, but it doesn't completely change the nature of the game, just speed things along a little bit.
Yeah, the entire game is a grind, and any amount of boosts will still have you doing that grind. It'll just take a little bit less time. But they design it in such a way that the grind is part of the fun. So there's, the only thing you're doing is saving time on leveling up a couple of things. Yeah. You're still needing to farm for things that you need and whatnot. And it also encourages player trade because you can trade premium currency to other players for stuff that they have. And I don't think any other free-to-play games really do that either.
It's the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah, you can trade platinum to other players.
That's quite nice.
If you want like Prime stuff they have. Cool stuff. Try Warframe, it's great. And it's also free.
Yeah, best part about it.
But yeah, I'm pretty much done with that unstoppable topic.
Yeah, might be time to move away from Fallout 76. We've been playing a bit. Oh, actually, let's end on a positive note. They've changed cap stashes so that they're now instance containers, which I do like, because it means if you're playing with multiple people, each of you can pick it up. Because I know I quite often, when playing with you, was leaving the cap stashes for you, because you have the perk which increases them.
I didn't think about that, actually.
Yeah. And it was like, cool, cap stash. I don't get any caps from this.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. That's good job bringing it back.
That's alright. End on the good note.
Yeah, that was good. Good job. I look forward to checking out the known and unknown stuff from vendors, because I know I have a couple thousand caps left, and I think I want to get a couple. See if I can get the was it shielded? The shielded upgrade for my Under Armour.
Which one?
The black BOS officer outfit.
I'm checking. I'm still looking for that one actually. I don't think it shows up in the plans.
It doesn't?
I don't. It might be a random one still, because I haven't noticed it. I've got a list on my desk of all the ones I need, because there's a lot.
Well, I've got it up to protective, but I just wanted to get the shielded one, which is the maximum. But it's strength and endurance. It's like the two main attributes for my character. So, also melee still overpowered. Don't even worry about like getting explosive weapons anymore. Just go melee. It's fine.
Yeah, just run melee. Easy.
Great.
Pure easy mode.
Okay, well, let's move over to another possible fan enraging. How do you set this up? How do you set up the next one? Sarge, you do it.
If you're looking for another post-apocalypse to get angry about, Metro Exodus is not even here yet. And yet, people are annoyed. So, I've only heard like tiny bits about this. I mean, Caedo obviously has brought this up for the podcast as well, for us to touch on it, and he showed me the reviews for this game on Steam. The game isn't out yet. The game was coming out on Steam, and now has been pulled from Steam to go on Epic's launcher. If you pre-purchased the game through Steam on a pre-order, then you're still going to get the game. Nothing's changing there. However, because the game's not going to be on Steam when it does release, everyone's just bombed the review of the game, which they haven't played yet.
Of the original, the first two games, actually.
Oh yeah, the first two games, based on a game they haven't played.
Yep.
Which is, it's like if all Fallout fans went back to Fallout 3 and review bombed. That might have happened. Did Fallout 3 get review bombed?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Oh, gamers,
either
what are you
3
doing?
or 4. I don't remember. I don't know what this mob mentality is about review bombing things. Like Steam put a system in there to tell you if the reviews have just taken a dive.
Yeah.
So like, they're not really relevant to the actual the actual scoring of the game.
It just shows that you can't really rely on user reviews too much anymore.
So yeah, Metro Exodus was moved over to the Epic's launcher, and it's roughly 2 weeks before the release of the game. So fans just don't like the idea of having to install another launcher just to play the game that they purchased. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
They're still getting the game. Minus that, it's just inconvenient. I think that's how I treat it.
Yeah, we are seeing at the moment a lot of different games going to specific launchers. Just looking at my taskbar, I've got Origin, I've got Steam, I've got whatever the Activision Blizzard one is, and I've got BethesdaNet. I don't have Epic Launcher on there right now because I stopped playing Fortnite, but that used to be on there. So I'd have like 5 different launchers for all the games.
Yeah, and I've got, counting mine, I've got Bethesda, I've got Epic, and I've got Blizzard. I'm eventually going to uninstall that. Because I don't even use it anymore. But yeah, and Steam, of course. But getting a little too many launchers can be, frustrating and or annoying. But the only one I've had most most issues with was getting Origin specifically just so I could play the Mass Effect trilogy when I bought it.
Yeah.
And then having to buy the DLC separately because the collection doesn't come with DLC for some reason.
That doesn't seem right.
Which is real messed up.
I will say on the note of the whole launches thing, for us as individuals, it's like a mild inconvenience, but it's generally not the end of the world. It's a case of our games aren't all in the same place. There are some things with overlays, but I mean, if you're on PC, you're probably using Discord most of the time. That's kind of taken over it all.
That's another launcher we have, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Discord has games as well. Jeez. Okay, that's another one we've got on there, yeah. But from a publisher side of thing, it makes a lot of sense because, I can't remember the exact percentage, but Steam takes a huge cut of each game that gets sold.
Yeah.
And they just adapted it due to this whole Metro thing with it moving to the Epic launcher, where now they'll take a smaller cut after a game's made $10 million worth of sales. So they're trying to keep hold of big AAA titles to go on Steam, because it would make a lot of sense for big publishers to move away from Steam so they're not losing whatever chunk of their profit and are losing like 10% less, and then going to a different one being like, okay, so we're going to lose a few people who refuse to go off of Steam, but we might save a few $1 million in what we pay to Steam. I've got even more to say about the Epic launcher, actually, because think about the amount of people who play Fortnite. It's ridiculous. They've already got the launcher installed.
Yeah.
And when they go on to play Fortnite, they'll see adverts for Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
So Metro might get a lot more publicity than it would have got on Steam as well, just through all of the people going, oh, I'm going to play Fortnite today like I do every day. Oh, what's this game that suddenly popped up before I get to see anything? So there's a lot of business decisions to move away from Steam that the general gaming populace probably won't pay too much attention to because it's really boring.
On that note, since Supergiant's newest game is on Epic as well, they didn't have the move over thing. It was just, Epic only to start with.
Yeah.
Hades, very fun game, but I wouldn't have heard about it if I hadn't been on the mailing list. And if I wasn't on the mailing list, I would have seen it first in the Epic launcher.
Yeah.
Because I had it installed for Fortnite and play Save the World with the roommate every so often. Stopped playing Battle Royale a long while ago. And now I'm way out of the loop. I just can't play it anymore. But yeah, it's an extremely smart move on publishers and even indie developers that are, joining Epic's side, because that's also real estate that hasn't been filled by just a whole bunch of even cheaply made games. Like Steam, it gets tons.
Yeah, the sheer volume of games on Steam, like, I can go searching for a specific game and struggle to find it just because I'll type in the literal name of the game and I'll get like 50 different results because there's too many games on Steam almost.
Yeah, there's a lot. Alright, well, so Metro Exodus, what... Listeners, have you ordered Metro Exodus? Are you angry? Tell us why. Also, I hope it's fun. I hope you enjoy it.
We haven't spoken at all about what the game even is, because none of the drama's about that, but it looks like it might be fun.
Think like the narrative of the new Wolfenstein games. That's the kind of style, and then just dump a whole bunch of, 15 gallons of atmosphere on top of it, and boom, you got Metro Exodus. In Russia. Takes place in a lot of metro tunnels, called Metro, mutants everywhere. Yep. Post-apocalypse, fun stuff. One of the highly recommended things for Fallout fans, actually, from what I hear a lot. Yeah.
We can get more into that later. I believe you wanted to talk a bit about Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, just some.
Yeah.
Because I don't have first-hand experience with Kingdom Hearts 3, but I have been a Kingdom Hearts fan since the first one.
That is good to hear, because I've literally never played any of them, and know only a small amount.
Yeah, so I've played through Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, Birth by Sleep, let's see, Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance, I didn't play the remixed edition, but here's what happened. The first game released in 2002. It's a unique mix of Square Enix, Final Fantasy type stuff, action RPG with Disney. It was the weirdest collaboration you could think of when it first released, and it was successful. It had a fun story, really goofy characters in throughout the world, and it all kind of meshed weirdly well together. And then, of course, in 2006, the sequel came out. And between that was Chain of Memories for the Game Boy Advance. And now, remember, second game, 2006.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts 3 just came out.
Yeah. 13 years later.
This is 13 years after the second game. There has been a plethora of spin-offs up until this point, which have made the story even more and more confusing, which is one of the things fans will lament and also gush about, depending on... I think it's generally the same for each person, but it's like, why? And also, this is so great.
Yeah. As someone outside of a franchise, I know that I can't understand any of it through being told it all, because it is 17 years worth of different stories going on, and from different franchises as well. When I see the game, the only really point of reference I've got besides knowing Disney characters is the Final Fantasy PlayStation games, because I loved those. And it's oh cool, it's got Zidane and Vivi and stuff in this. Wait, how are they there? What's going on?
Yeah, and it's something I heard too, though, which made me disappointment. And one of the super fans that are on my Discord, shout out to Brendan, who's probably playing Kingdom Hearts 3 right now.
Almost certainly.
He was counting down the days, but he mentioned that he found out that the voice actors of Cloud and Sephiroth, the Final Fantasy characters Cloud and Leon or Squall, were not hired in to do voice work, and that was concerning because in any of the trailers, none of the Final Fantasy characters were seen at all. This is probably old news at this point, but what I'm saying is there's probably no Final Fantasy characters in there because it's got so many characters of its own now that they didn't need them.
Well, Disney just owns everything under the sun, so why bother?
Yeah, there's also that. But the Disney worlds that you visit, the stories that are inside those particular worlds are really short, sometimes don't even make sense, they just kind of barely follow the plot line of one of the movies.
I've seen a bit of gameplay, and it seems more around the theme or some of the visuals of the movies more than actually following along with what went on.
A lot of it's not to be taken too terribly seriously, except for Toy Story in the third game, because apparently Toy Story confirmed that the Kingdom Hearts part is canon.
Okay.
So
that's weird.
That's cool.
I assumed everything in Kingdom Hearts was only within its own canon. Because speaking about Vivi being in there, the thing that confused me was I was like, oh, Vivi, he shouldn't be around. He kind of dies off camera at the end of Final Fantasy IX, so I was like, oh, he shouldn't be around. That makes no sense.
That's right.
Yeah. See, I know my Final Fantasy. I don't know the Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, in Kingdom Hearts 2, what's his name? The Final Fantasy VIII antagonist.
Is it going to be Cypher?
Cypher, yeah. Yeah, he's in the basically the beginning tutorial, the beginning 4-hour tutorial of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Only 4 hours.
Yeah. That was one of the major gripes from players, actually. It's establishing the character Roxas and all the nonsense that happened between the first and second game. Anyway, so Kingdom Hearts. Have you played it? What do you think? Also, are there Final Fantasy characters? I'm gonna say probably not, but,
Yeah, if there's any Final Fantasy stuff, I'll be happy to talk about it in the comments, because I love those games.
Yes, me too. Kind of a guilty pleasure. Doesn't really fit my channel, so I don't really get to...
No, actually, speaking to the first time you kind of... Going right back to the intro, because that's smart. The first time you actually popped up and we interacted was whilst I was streaming Final Fantasy IX, I believe.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was just like, oh, there's a Caedo appeared. And I was like, I wasn't even sure it was you at first, but I was like, that's a verified tick next to his name. That's probably actual Caedo.
Yep. I shouldn't even have a verified tick, by the way.
No, I looked into it afterwards. I was like, 100,000. And I went, okay, so Caedo's got over 100,000 subs.
I asked.
Is that all you did?
Yeah, when I had the when I got assigned a YouTube consultant by the name of Nick, he was basically teaching me a lot of things, you know, the ins and outs of YouTube and how to further grow my channel.
Yeah.
One of which was the introduction of YouTube gaming and being like, hey, you should start live streaming because this is going to be, you know, a pretty big integration to YouTube. And I'm like, okay,
Yep.
I'm going to try it. But then I asked him later on, I was like, so how does one get verified? Is there a special like application we have to fill out, or how do we prove we are the only one of us? And then he was like, let me actually get back to you on that. And then the next time we met up, I had the check mark. I was like, oh
Wow,
thank you.
that's quite nice.
Nick's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
So that's basically what happened. And since then, yeah, the rules kind of changed. Because this was more than a couple of years ago, I think. That's how that happened.
Yep.
Back in my day. How long have you had your channel, Sarge?
3 years? I want to say.
Okay.
It's been a while.
I've started getting a lot more comments from people saying something along the lines of, I've been watching you since I was a kid.
Yeah. I must admit, it's kind of weird talking to you now when I was watching your channel before I had this channel. So I'd say like...
Wow.
I'm guessing it was maybe 5 years ago I started watching you. Yeah, probably.
Well, thanks everybody. It's time to retire.
Yeah, you've had your channel for a while.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It's. I think it's 6 years now. I think that's where it's at. Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about that Far Cry business, sir?
Oh, I like Far Cry as a franchise, just to start things off. But
Good start.
Far Cry 5 came out, was it a year or two ago? It was a little while ago, but still in recent memory. And now we've got, I think it's Far Cry New Dawn it's called, which is kind of the next Far Cry game, but it's a direct sequel to the events of Far Cry 5 and the ending of Far Cry 5, which had quite a bad reception. And there's stuff going on with Far Cry, but Far Cry still is Far Cry, because Far Cry never changes. That's the thing. I got into Far Cry from Far Cry 3, and the games have basically been the same formulaic thing since then, however many years ago that was. And now they're doing a post-apocalyptic game in Far Cry. Because why wouldn't they? They went back to like Stone Age, they did like 80s cyber. They can just do anything they want with Far Cry. It's basically like its own game engine almost, where you've got the basic controls and stuff, then you just choose what you want to paint it with. And it just works.
See, like, I've never played Far Cry. Like, roommate Kite's been into it, like, wanting to try it, at least.
Yeah.
But I've had no interest whatsoever in it. I think it may be because of that inconsistency, but it may also be along the lines of maybe getting a little too realistic in look and feel.
Okay.
To me. Whereas I like to play things that are ridiculous. Like, that is my go-to. If there's, like, exploring and ridiculousness kind of put together, or post-apocalypse.
Yeah. In which case, either Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon or Far Cry New Dawn could be ones you might enjoy. Because New Dawn, the upcoming one, is, like, post-apocalypse, kind of very bright colours, though, and everything's nice and lovely, despite everyone killing each other.
Yeah.
And Blood Dragon was just crazy.
Yeah, and I might come back to see, like, the kind of game that it's kind of molded itself into at this point, because, yeah, you're making it sound like I don't know, like a chameleon type game.
It's one of those games that's fun if you get into, but it's never going to be like your favourite game of all time, but it's never going to be a game that you go, oh, that completely sucks. It's just kind of there and getting along and being like, oh yeah, these games exist, they're fun.
Oh, like, I don't know if it's the same for you, but like the Tomb Raider reboots.
Yeah, like I've
played them, but they were just kind of there afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing, but it may be a bad thing.
I think it's good that these games exist and are out there, but they never feel, even though they are like AAA games, they're never like the biggest hot thing going around for months and months. Like how Fallout is such a big franchise, even with a bit of a dip in like the recent years, it's got huge clout. And like my sister, who I don't think has ever actually played a Fallout game, knows about Dogmeat, knows about lots of characters, recognises like Pip-Boy and all of that stuff. Whereas you show her like, I can't even think of an example from Tomb Raider or Far Cry because they're just not as iconic.
Lara Croft.
Yeah. I mean, Lara Croft herself is... Well, she changes how she looks all the time, which makes it difficult to be like, oh yes, that's Lara Croft. Like, when I picture Lara Croft, I picture her from the original games, because they're the ones I played. And she's like just polygons there.
Yeah.
But now it's like a human, which is weird, because that's not Lara Croft.
And also, like, I think it was the second game of the reboot, where she finally had 2 guns.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, and it was towards the end.
Yeah, I think
before
like
that,
final boss.
It was like a bow and an ice pick. Like, it's going like mega survival mode. A good direction, mind you. And I did enjoy the time. I didn't enjoy the death animations. That was like
I saw that was like those. They were good.
That felt like I was playing Mortal Kombat, not on purpose in some of those, but overall it was still a good time. I just, afterwards it was just kind of there.
Yep. They're fun games to dive into, but you're never going to get lost in them and remember them for all of eternity.
Speaking of another game that I think it's going to be just there,
Anthem's coming out this month as one of the like trilogy of kind of post-apocalypse games we've got coming out just this month.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It feels like they're all coming at once. Because Anthem is it's different from the other post-apocalypse games, which are a bit more dirty and in the mud and like realistic to an extent, whereas Anthem's much more of a sci-fi post-apocalypse kind of thing.
Far future.
Yeah, where you're flying around in these, they're called javelins, they're kind of like they're exosuits, and you're killing lots of these monsters in like this place that's clearly been destroyed a long time ago, but now you've got like a settlement for humans, and it's a bit complicated. Well, we mentioned at the beginning of the video Tony Mo. He's made lots of videos about the game. If you want to learn about the lore or stuff, you should probably watch some of his videos, because he explains it much better than I do. In fact, I think all of my Anthem information is from him.
Yeah. He just has a way about it. It's very good.
He's good at talking.
That too. He has a soothing voice. And a nice talky stuff.
Yeah.
He talked good.
He talked much good.
Kind of in that same vein, Warframe is going through some kind of like upkeep changes, because they do that every so often. Like once they have a couple of huge like world updates, they go back and like tweak some of the stuff that needs a little extra attention, or needs to be brought up to the standard that the new stuff has.
Yeah, it's constantly like in a bit of a state of flux.
Yeah, constant change and adaptation type scenario. They introduced 2 new Warframes that are going to be coming out, which is really cool. One of them, it seems to be modeled after Raziel from Soul Reaver. Major blast from the past PS1 era game, and I didn't play them myself, but I always wanted to as a kid. I was growing up in a pretty sheltered home place with my parents. They didn't like me seeing anything that was potentially violent. Not even box art.
No violent video games for the Caedo.
So I'm excited to see that Warframe in particular. And there's also one that's like big lady tank.
Big lady tank.
Who's going to have her own heavy weapon that you would normally have in space, but she can just run around with it and use it as an ability, which is pretty cool. So, also the Warframes can fly around in space. I don't know how many of you actually knew that.
I've seen a bit of that, because I got into Warframe for a little bit, but I never played that much of it. I always played it solo, so it was kind of like, yeah, this is kind of fun, but I don't have 50 hours a week to sink into this to grind up levels.
It's a grindy game.
Yeah.
As we said before. But the Archwings are I guess comparable to Gundams, kind of. Yeah. Except they they latch onto the back of your Warframe and you just kind of fly around in space with a giant heavy weapon, because obviously it's not going to weigh anything in space. No. So you just run around with a giant cannon blowing up enemy ships. It's neat. It's fun. Sometimes. It feels like it's still kind of separate from the rest of the game, even though it's been like integrated to other like mission types and stuff like that.
Yeah, just from what I've seen of it almost does look like a different game than what you normally play.
The terrestrial stuff is still like the main the main thing. Anyway, yeah, Warframe, Anthem, Destiny, all that stuff. If you want your your sci-fi fix.
Yeah, there's a nice
options.
Mix of good sci-fi and good post-apocalyptic games out there right now, which is nice, because those are both good categories.
Yeah. Oh wait, when's Rage 2 coming out? I keep forgetting about that one. I'm worried that's going to be another pass-me-by thing, and I don't want it to be.
It's not out this month, I know that much, but it's out at some point.
Rage 2 is supposed to come out May 14th.
That's not that far away.
And yeah, and like I said, I'm into ridiculous games, and that all the trailers are ridiculous, all of them. There's multicolored explosions and
lots of pink
powers and throwing enemies around and ragdolls and mutants and it's like a fun time.
It's one of the many games I'm having to work out if I can justify picking up, because there are a lot of games out this year which look like they'll be good. And on the content creator side of things, you always kind of want to pick up stuff at release, so you can get content out early, but that does mean you don't really get to see much of the game or know too much about it before you buy it.
That's like every Bethesda game I remotely had interest in to cover. Prey was one of them. That was like that didn't get enough attention. I feel.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people saying it was underrated. I never played it because I just wasn't too interested in the gameplay. I really like lots of the ideas about it, but it wasn't something I was fussed about actually playing.
Yeah, and I think part of it was too that it's hard to put into a trailer what Prey was like.
Yeah,
I guess. And there's some games that do have that problem where, you know, they put all these like really cool action moments in the trailer, but that's not at all what the game's about. The overwhelming feeling is, you know, this is heavy atmosphere. Like what's going to be around the next corner? Is that chair or is that pair of chairs? Which one's the real chair? Yeah, kind of thing. Which one's going to come at my face? Learning about your character's past. It's a trope, suffering from amnesia, but this is somehow done well.
Yeah, it's a slightly different take on amnesia as well.
And learning about the Typhon life forms, and also adopting their abilities if you see fit, to the point to where the security even triggers because you have too much Typhon DNA in you.
Yeah,
like it's fun and interesting, and there's it's got like a Deus Ex level of traversal for getting from one place to another on the station as well, which is
a little bit of advanced mobility to it, which is something really I want to see in more games. Just mobility's like my big selling point on a lot of games recently, ever since like Titanfall 2 with wall running and double jumps. Just anything with a bit of advanced mobility, I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice.
Anything that has smooth mobility too, like I imagine Titanfall 2 has some of the smoothest.
Oh yeah, Titanfall 2 feels so good.
Like ground to wall to whatever.
Taking it back to Fallout for a quick second, I've obviously been playing Fallout 76, which the movement isn't like anything amazing, but it feels fine. It feels kind of natural almost.
Yeah.
I went back and played some Fallout New Vegas. You might be able to comment on this as well. I was playing it just on my Xbox. Why is moving so difficult? It's horrible.
Why
Like,
is
as much
stopping
as-
so difficult? That's
Yeah.
more important.
As many good points as the game does have, and as beloved as it is, just the literal act of like moving and shooting and trying to do that at the same time as well, it just feels so wrong.
Yeah. The advancement between between Bethesda working on Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 was the amazing smoothness that came with the controls.
Yeah.
Also being able to sprint and jump. You didn't have that in Skyrim when it first came out,
Nope, it was.
and that was a pain.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they didn't include that.
Yeah, as much as there is to complain about with the modern Bethesda games, with people saying they're not RPG-ish enough and all of that, just the pure act of playing them has got a lot better. To the point of, if there was just a complete blank canvas, no quests, no characters, no anything at all, then I'd want to play one of the modern or latest Fallout games as opposed to one of the older ones, because
Oh, definitely.
just moving about feels good.
Yeah. And I think part of the problem, like having a franchise live this long, and Kingdom Hearts even probably suffers from this also, is when you look back, you remember all the good points because that was your introduction to it. But when you actually go back to it, you're like, what?
Oh yeah, well, I went back to New Vegas as kind of like it's just a game to play whilst I'm rendering footage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I went back to it and made a Buckaroo build, because you're doing your Fallout New Vegas Let's Play. And I was like, I got New Vegas, haven't played it in a while. And even just watching you play it, because obviously I'm not the one controlling it, it looks so much better. Because I'm not having the bad feedback input or suffering from the minor gripes you have when actually playing as opposed to just watching it.
Yeah. Well, also to be fair, a lot of the loading screens and interfaces and I've only had like one crash.
Yeah.
All of those things are edited out to make the entire thing a smooth gameplay episode series thing.
Well, it's like when you go to look at your Pip-Boy, you edit it so that the Pip-Boy goes up and then immediately goes down, and everything's done. As opposed to like the minute or two where you're going through the inventory, checking on stuff, seeing what to do.
That was an early decision too. Like when I first started the Fallout 3 playthrough, the Fallout 3, the Vagrant playthrough.
Yeah, the Vagrant playthrough.
When I first started doing that, I drew some inspiration from William Strife, who did some heavy editing with his, showing what he did in his menus, but not wasting any time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's genius. So, but I'm gonna abridge it a little bit because I don't want to put that much info on screen every single time. So
that's the thing. I've gone kind of to the extreme where how I edit is if I'm talking, it stays in for the most part, and then I just don't talk whilst I'm travelling, don't talk whilst I'm in the menus, or through any of the what I'd consider the more dull stuff. So it just leaves with me being like, I'm in this combat, and then I immediately am at the next place and doing this thing, and then in the next combat. I go very much for almost action-heavy, which does lose a bit of the nuance of games like the Fallout franchise, but I feel it can sometimes make for a better viewing experience than if you do have the unedited, now I'm just scrolling through all the different items I've got, and all of that stuff, which is good and needs to be in a game, but doesn't need to be shown.
I may be leading into too much too by saying I'm not quite like I'm right at endgame for the main quest for Fallout New Vegas in the playthrough.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to the point to where I've dealt with it for so long that I'm actually not done. Like I don't feel like I'm done playing yet.
Yeah.
So the next episode that comes out, probably after this podcast, I would like to say, if this goes up on a Sunday, is that I'm actually going to be holding a vote of which DLC to do because I'm not done. I'm gonna do either Lonesome Road or Old World Blues.
I was just thinking to myself, do I want to vote Lonesome Road or Old World Blues? That's
it's a tough choice too.
Do you want to go super serious and deep and dark and foreboding, or fun and wacky and laser scorpions?
And Lobotomite's running around with 50 cals because I'm over level 30.
Oh yeah. I forget how difficult the DLCs get. I have a tendency to do them really early.
Yeah, it's gonna kill me so hard.
Oh, that'll be fun
But
to watch.
it'll be fun, yeah. Something like that. I just like, if I do Lonesome Road though, like I'll at least have some defense against robots, because the pulse slugs are way overpowered on the shotgun. Like, I feel like there was an extra digit added. Something like that. Anyway, yeah, that was a way off topic, kind of fun little thing. I don't know. Maybe we should go off the rails often.
Well, off the rails is good, and I mean, the bullet point is Fallout topic. We were talking about Fallout there. That's
we were.
Good.
Oh yeah,
and we actually did Fallout gameplay. Yeah.
Wow.
See,
nice,
easy.
Smart.
And because you've been talking about the fact that we've been playing Fallout New Vegas, I've been playing it casually, you've been playing it for content, that works perfectly onto the next what are you playing? We can just say,
wow.
What other games are you playing? Yeah!
So Sarge, what are you playing?
Well as New Vegas, I've got tons of games I've been playing for content, because I'm only actually making content on Fallout 76. That's what my entire channel is now for the time being, because if you're covering one game, you tend to grow a lot faster than doing variety, which kind of sucks, but it makes sense.
Niche is where to go.
Yeah, but I'm working on a very big video where I'm gonna kind of compare Fallout 76 with some other games, and some of those games are stuff like Borderlands 2, Destiny 2, and Skyrim. So Skyrim I haven't actually gone back to yet, because both of us have Skyrim fatigue.
Oh,
which kind of sucks.
Beyond.
But I played a little bit of Borderlands 2 with a friend of mine. We jumped in and just kind of got through some stuff. It was literally just an evening of playing with a friend, which was nice. I don't do that too often, so it's good to just relax and play that for a bit. And Destiny 2, I probably started playing it at the beginning of this week, and then would have been, yesterday, I completed the main story and was like, oh, I have a whole bunch of legendaries and exotics and all of that stuff now. So I feel like I'm going to stop playing that actually fairly soon, but those are like the games I've been playing recently, half for fun, half for content. Oh, and Magic the Gathering Arena. Because, yes, your roommate mentioned it in a tweet, and I was like, oh, that was fun, wasn't it? And before we started on this, I sneaked in a couple of matches, because I can't help it.
Yep. Sometimes you just can't.
Just get that itch. Got to scratch for Magic.
Yeah. I'm actually working on a dwarf deck. Like, I got most of the cards that I need for it now, so I just have to put it together.
All my decks kind of suck at the moment, but I love them all deeply.
Getting fun, but that's not something I have been playing. Let's see. I actually added another thing here too for what I've been playing, but it's been a lot the last week or so. I've been kind of all over the place. Between the friend that I've been reconnecting with, Nelsar, some people may recognize that name from a couple collaborations I did.
Yep.
Particularly Dying Light. He was my collab partner, and he is a riot of a person to play a game with. But he and I were playing, have been playing Deep Rock Galactic, and that's a lot of fun. Kite got into it for a little bit, even though she is disgusted by dwarves. On the topic of dwarves, let's see, Hades, Supergiant's new game on early access on Epic's launcher, is a heck of a lot of fun. Recently had the Chaos update, which added kind of like a the origin of the gods, and it's a roguelike, kind of like Binding of Isaac. It's a dungeon crawler roguelike, but you get boons from the various Greek gods, and Chaos was added, the origin of the gods, so you can go through a Chaos portal and get a somewhat like a trait. So you get a trade-off for 4 encounters, and you get a buff after that.
Alright, what's the actual gameplay like on that game? Because I've heard you talk about it and seen you playing it a little bit, but I don't really know how it plays.
Have you played either Transistor or Bastion?
I haven't heard of those games.
Okay, well, it's kind of a isometric action style game. Very colorful too.
Okay.
A lot of it has kind of a watercolor aesthetic almost, or watercolor with hard edges, I guess. I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but they do style very well.
It's a very stylized game.
Yeah, when it comes to video games as an art form, they are at the top of their game every single time.
All right.
And this is their fourth game that they've made. But yeah, so far it's been a blast. Beating my own scores. They only have 2 areas done with the dungeons, and I've gotten to the boss of the second area quite a few times, beaten him quite a few times with each weapon available right now. There's 4.
Okay, sounds like it's quite replayable then, which is always
definitely.
Nice thing to
That's one of the things they were going for too with this game was replayability, because with their other games you play through the narrative and you're pretty much done.
Yeah, that's my biggest gripe with a lot of narrative games.
There's not too terribly much incentive to play it again to like get all the collectibles or whatnot. But this one in particular, I've played it. Like, it tells you. You get an item in your room in the game that tells you how many attempts you've made to escape the underworld. And I think I'm at like 61 attempts or something like that. So, and those are each 20 plus minutes. So I've spent a bit of time on the game. But yeah, so Hades, Deep Rock Galactic, I played all the way through Sunset Overdrive because it came out on PC last year, I think. Okay. Because it was an Xbox exclusive for so long. And I was like, it's an Insomniac game, Ratchet and Clank, the new Spider-Man game. Like, I want to play, this, whatever this is, because it looks crazy. And I like crazy games.
Yeah.
So,
another game that seemed to have some good advanced mobility as well.
Oh, definitely. Mobility is... I could tell that some of it was pulled over to the Spider-Man game. Like, not like frame for frame animated, but like a lot of it was very Insomniac in the way that they decided to keep some of it. I'm wondering if there is grinding in Spider-Man, because Ratchet and Clank has like been notorious for that, and so has Sunset Overdrive now. So I don't know. I have to play Spider-Man, even though I bought it and still haven't played it for months, or started playing it, I should say. And finally, Left 4 Dead 2. I hosted a little Left 4 Dead 2 spur of the moment type gaming sesh with my community on Discord, and link in the description. I wanted to get people more invested in playing games with each other, not just with me, but with each other too. So, and I was like, basically everybody has Left 4 Dead 2 at this point. So let's play. It
seems to just appear in Steam libraries, magically. Like, I swear I never bought it. I own the game.
Yeah. It just appears.
Yep.
In people's collections. But yeah, we did it was me, roommate Cody, and moderator Stark, and one guest. We had our guests interchange on who wanted to play next, because Cody and I hadn't played anything together for a while either, and I figured it was about time. And he had some free time, so I was like, let's make it work out. So yeah, that was fun. And for content, obviously Fallout New Vegas and 76 when I can stomach it currently. I don't want to leave it on that though. Try Sunset Overdrive if you like ridiculous games. Yeah, it's fun. It's also like fourth wall breaking, pop culture-y, so incredibly self-aware that it's a video game. Like, it's
the Deadpool of video games.
I mean, Deadpool has a video game, so...
Yeah, that's what the joke was meant to be. I feel like the Deadpool game might be a tiny bit obscure, though, so... The
extra meta.
Oh, I'll meta your meta.
That's about... Did you have any... I wonder if the community hasn't been playing anything recent, because I clearly haven't. Except Hades. Hades counts, I guess. But... That's still early access, but anything brand spanking new like Kingdom Hearts 3 or even Anthem, like what have you guys been playing?
Yeah, well, we're recording this on a Friday and hoping to get it out on Sunday, and that's the duration of the Anthem open demo. So people may well have been playing between the time we're recording and the time it comes out. I know I'm probably going to download it. Yeah. Who needs sleep when you have video games?
It's very important. Yeah, so I guess we go to the final thing. Final thing!
Final thing.
Everybody, what kind of end-of-the-world experience do you want to have this? Did I really type that?
You did type what kind of end-of-the-world experience do you want to have this year, which sounds so depressing.
Wow.
It's like, hey guys, everything's on fire, we're all gonna die, the end is nigh. Bye!
Awesome. I don't want to make this into a real-life scenario. Crap.
Yeah, would you like a real-life end-of-world or a video game end-of-world? Make your choice now. We'll leave a poem in top right.
When it comes to games, because there's a lot of like post-apocalyptic games that are, there or kind of have post-apoc undertones.
Yeah.
Which one are you most excited for? I probably want to leave it at that. Which one are you Wastrels most excited for? For post-apoc experience that's maybe not Fallout 76. That's fine.
It could be Fallout 76.
But it could be. Or it could be Anthem, or it could be the new Far Cry, or it could be Metro Exodus, or it could be Rage 2.
You showed me that game earlier as well. Gone Wrong? No, what?
Oh,
Days Gone.
Gone Wrong.
Gone Wrong.
Days Gone, yeah.
Days Gone, yeah.
The one of the zombie apoc games. It looked a lot more human focused. The zombies just happen to be there.
I half watched the trailer and I didn't even notice a zombie.
Yeah, they came in like halfway through, maybe even 2/3. But yeah, let us know what your post-apoc experience you want to have in a game or in a medium, I should say, this year. And let's talk about it.
I actually had a movie I watched on Netflix.
Which
kind of falls into that. Which, yesterday I kind of just messaged Caedo, just like, all far too overexcited. There was a movie on Netflix called Circle or Circles, and Caedo recently, in his Fallout New Vegas playthrough, went through Vault 11. The scenario in Vault 11 is they have to vote for an overseer, and the overseer goes down to robots that kill it.
A sacrificial chamber.
Yeah, that's the basic summary of it.
After their term's up.
Yeah, this movie, Circles, it's probably Circle singular. It's that scenario, basically, for the entire movie. And it is one of the best films I have ever watched.
Wow,
really?
Really?
It is insanely good. You're in one room for the movie, but how psychological it is, and how you're trying to just work out... First of all, you get basically nothing. It's like cold open to the room, to the setting, with everyone there, and then you piece together what's going on at the same time as the characters, and you just kind of are left with everything, and just kind of have to accept all of this that is happening, and people just keep dying in this room. And you work out why, you then work out, do we have a choice in this, what's going on, and it ties in heavily to the Vault 11 thing, to the point of, I almost feel like, the movie came out I think 2015, so I wouldn't be surprised if there could have been inspiration from Vault 11, which helped make this movie, because as I was watching it I was like, that sounds like that, and it's so amazing.
That's cool.
It's a must watch.
Cool, so you had game suggestions and movie suggestions.
I have so
all
many
over
suggestions.
All over this thing. Okay, so I think that's all we have for the PIPCAST 3000. I even forgot the name of the thing. This was so split second, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, especially to the end. For those of you who are listening to this point, you are troopers. You probably got some popcorn halfway through or something like that. Because, man, this was a popcorn discussion at the start.
Oh, yes.
If you liked listening to this and stuff like that, and you want to see or hear more of us, I have a lot more, Fallout, Bethesda-oriented content on this channel, and of course, Sarge has. Well, you can promote.
I just have a redonkulous amount of Fallout 76 content. I've got between 3 and 5 Fallout 76 videos a week at the moment, so there's a lot of stuff on my channel. Yeah. Well, I've got 2 guaranteed ones, 1 almost guaranteed one each week, and then whatever else I decide to make within that week.
Wow.
So there's a lot of stuff. Plus, I've got a couple of like epic projects I've started working on, which might take years to come out, might take weeks, who knows, but there's good stuff coming at some point.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming to hang out, and expect these will be either weekly or bi-weekly. I haven't even decided yet. We're just kind of playing it by ear. But let us know what kind of things you'd like us to talk about, what kind of things you personally would be interested in learning about, because we plan on covering, some Fallout-oriented lore and topics and stuff like that. Not just news, just overarching Fallout post-apocalyptic-y kind of stuff.
There's going to be plenty of topics to go over.
There's going to be plenty, and there's going to be gobs of tips of the day that I'm excited to come up with too. So, all right, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday and all that good stuff. Have a good one. You want to say bye?
Sarge out.
Okay. I'll edit that so it's more smooth.
That wasn't smooth, really?
Or I'll just leave it in, whatever.
Your voice had a nice fade to it at the end. I was like, oh yeah, that's quite nice. Just a soothing outro.